Welcome to Let's Face the Facts. I'm David Almeida, and I'm your host for this rewatch podcast for the classic sitcom, The Facts of Life. I'm an actor in Orlando, Florida, and every week I bring you some of the greatest talent in the Central Florida arts community. Join us as we synopsize, analyze, criticize, and ultimately idolize the show, episode by episode. Hey guys, welcome back. Another week, another show. How you holding up during all the corona crazy? Things are starting to open up again. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm personally just staying home a lot more. It's just a weird, crazy time that we're living in. We know there's going to be a new normal. We just don't know what that is because normal still seems a very, very far distance away. This week, though, I am so thrilled that I got my friend Robyn Kelly on the show. She is an actress, a singer, a musical theater improviser, master improviser, actually, and just so entertaining and funny, and I'm just thrilled to have her on. She is a person you may have seen on your TV, on Friends or on The West Wing. We do talk a little bit about that in the interview segment. Before we start the show, though, I do have to say hello and give a shout out to two new Tutti Fruities. These are the supporters through Patreon who have pledged $3 a month to support the show. First, I need to say hi to Harvey H. I've actually talked about Harvey H. before. He's the guy that first brought to my attention the awesome website called Sitcoms Online. And there are some very interesting message strings there about the facts of life, and I've learned some interesting information there. So I recommend you pop on over there and say a little silent thank you to Harvey when you do. And secondly, Marion H. Marion hails all the way from the Great White North, and I'm very pleased now to know that I am a worldwide phenomenon for my tens of listeners. And I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the financial support. If you want to be like Marion or Harvey and support the show, you can head over to patreon.com/facethefactspod, and you can support the show for as little as $1 a month. But if you don't support the show at all, that's okay. So back to the show this week. Robyn Kelly and I watched Season 5, Episode 5, What Price Glory? And the original air date was October 19th of 1983. Are you ready to jump on in? Because I know I am. Let's face the facts with Robyn Pedretti Kelly. Ladies and gentlemen, via Zoom, all the way from her bed in her pajamas, it is arguably one of the funniest women on the fucking planet. Robyn Pedretti Kelly.
Hey, everybody.
I am so happy we finally got this. We've made 2 other attempts.
Years, I feel like we've been trying. Months, maybe. Yeah.
It's certainly been months, if not the better part of a year. We were going to do it right around the time that you were moving, and it was like something to do with the new house happened, and I was like,
yeah, and I'm still surrounded in boxes, so I'm really winning at life because I've had 2 months sitting around doing nothing where I could be unpacking, and I have not.
That's like me and my exercise. It's that whole thing of like, oh, well, if I wasn't working so much and I just had unlimited time at my disposal, I would be cut and buff and,
I have done nothing.
Yeah. You see, at least the one thing I will say, this is not a one-upmanship. I've done a lot of stuff, but that is a way of avoiding the exercise and eating better and all that. It's like, it's literally been, I need to do everything but. And the trouble is the list is getting shorter and shorter, and I'm getting closer and closer to where I'm going to have to do it, and I'm not going to be happy.
Yep, exactly. Oh, Lord.
And then the second time you were supposed to come over like in the before times when we could come to each other's
Right?
houses.
Yeah. Oh, the
And
good old days.
and you were like, I remember you texted me, you're like, David, you're not going to fuck up. My car won't. Like you had a problem with your car, or your
Yep.
husband had a
It
problem
was
with his
my
car.
husband's car. Yep.
It
And
was like,
we've now, since then, we've put in about $4,000 into this car.
oh boy.
And right when we got it all fixed, we didn't have to drive it. It's been sitting in the driveway for
Yeah.
2 months. So that all
Yep.
worked out great.
One tank of gas will last you 16 weeks
Oh my
nowadays.
God,
Yeah.
I know. I'm getting 2 months to the gallon.
Lovely. Well, you and I have watched the wonderful, I would
Oh
argue, a
my.
very special episode
Oh,
of
so serious.
but
Yeah,
called
so
What
serious.
Price Glory. This originally broadcast on October 19th of 1983. The episode was directed by Asad Khalada. He was the one who
Mm-hmm.
directed most of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was written by Alan Spencer. This is the only episode this man ever wrote for The Facts of Life, but he would go on to create a series called Sledgehammer. Do you remember Sledgehammer?
I do.
86 to
I
88.
do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was
My good old
his.
high school days. Yes.
Yeah. And then he has gone on to be a very respected script doctor. So he doesn't have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of IMDb credits, but he's been working a lot and probably making a lot of money.
Right, right.
And yeah. So as you said, back to your high school days, our high school days, I always like to ask my guest first thing, if you have a relationship with the show. Did you watch the show in the first run?
You know, I wasn't like an avid viewer. I would catch episodes kind of here and there, but I wasn't like a run home, that night, watch it, follow it. But I did watch, kind of episodes here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I was more of like the Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley kind of gal.
Oh,
But oh yes, but
I
no, I
love
mean, I
those.
definitely watched it, but probably not as avid as maybe you, perhaps.
And my thing is that I was an avid watcher in the early seasons, but then I
Mm,
slowly fell away from it because as the show got into the crazier later, not as well written seasons, that was when I was
mhm.
in college.
Ah,
Because
okay.
I don't believe you're not a person who's very concerned about divulging her age, but you
Oh,
are.
I have no issue whatsoever. I just turned 50 and I am proud to say
Uh-huh.
it.
You put up
Mhm.
some amazing pictures of yourself, and
Listen, I shaved my head.
you did. You cut your hair
Yeah,
off. You
yep,
look more
all
like
of
your son than you ever did before. It's incredible. But yeah, so you're a year behind me. So you're
them.
basically the same age as Tootie in the show.
Yes.
'Cause you would have
Oh,
been,
Tootie. Bless her
yes.
heart.
Oh, bless.
Bless. God bless.
So the deal is, I'm sorry, you're not the same age as Tootie. You are the same age as Kim Fields. Kim Fields was playing 2 years older than she actually was.
I did not know that.
So in this episode, Tootie introduces herself as 16 as a high school sophomore, but in fact, Kim Fields is
Right.
14. So that
Wow.
could be why at one point there's a point where you're like, wow, you almost would have thought that she would have kissed this boy in this episode, but there's a
Right.
little
Right.
weirdness because I think there might have been a bigger age difference than
Right.
was apparent.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And yeah, so before we get into the nuts and bolts, the really microscopic dissection that I like to do, I always like to ask my guests, please, if you, Robyn Pedretti Kelly, would please give me a 1 to 2 sentence synopsis of this episode, just something short like you might see in a TV guide. What did we just watch?
The gang faces some real issues with a moral dilemma between love and doing the right thing.
That's beautiful.
It's so stupid.
No, nothing. There are no stupid answers. No, that is beautiful. And yes, that is what we're dealing with. And let me just add on to that, that this is, for all intents and purposes, this is the illiteracy episode.
Well, I was gonna say that. I was
Hmm.
gonna say literacy, but I don't know. Everything is so like taboo anymore of like what to say. But I guess going back to 1983,
We could
it
still
probably
say
was a little
illiterate
bit.
though, can't we?
Yeah,
Isn't it's
I mean,
still okay?
she called. Yeah, I think she even
Yeah.
said the words like one of the characters said illiterate, like he's
Yeah.
illiterate.
Yeah, I think that's still okay a word to
Yeah, I
for
guess.
if
Yeah,
it's not an okay word to use, spoiler alert and trigger moment, I'm going to
yeah.
use it a couple of times near because to my knowledge the word illiterate is still an okay word to use.
I
Yes,
would say
so
that maybe I think more nowadays people maybe instead of illiterate, I guess I've heard more learning disability is kind of more of what people say. I guess
yeah,
these days. I don't know.
maybe. I will look
I
it
don't
up
know.
and if there is any issue and maybe we'll stick with that but that will relate to one of the notes that we're going to talk about later that I have for the writers about the show. And let's get to it, shall we? Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. We start off in the store, Edna's Edibles. Now, I have to admit, I've been watching these on smaller screens, and we're only 5 episodes into the Edna's Edibles years. You realize, Robyn, this is all very
Okay.
new.
Right, right.
And so
And
I
Edna's edibles would have a completely different meaning these days.
Matthew Arter says, if you watch the show thinking of it as a drug front for being that they're dealing pot on the side, it's a much more enjoyable show. But there is so much mauve, the sort of dusty rose, not quite burgundy, not quite
Hmm.
berry red, but there are such 80s colors
Oh
uh
my God.
mixed in with all of the woodwork, and then the hanging garlic and the baskets and the
Oh, yes.
rattan, and
Yes.
it's such a
So good.
homey place. And
It's so bland.
yeah,
So bland. I
but
love it.
it's like a warm hug from a bygone
Yes.
era, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so Blair comes into the shop and she is there's this immediate weirdness that I think is going to be constantly gnawing at me through the Edna's Edibles seasons, Robyn, where
Okay.
Blair comes in through the front door of the store. Good morning, everybody.
Ah,
Oh, isn't it
yes.
a glorious day? And I'm like, it's the front of the store. That's where the customers come in, and
Right.
you live there in the back
Oh
of the
my God.
store. So
God, she's so annoying. She is not one of my favorites.
you don't like Blair.
No, she's so
Ooh,
annoying. She's
yeah.
so annoying to me. I
Yeah, 2 weeks ago you would have been really unhappy. She was a witch with a capital B.
oh, she just commands look at me and the annoying
Yeah.
voice. Yeah, okay, but I know a lot of people like the Blair, but
A lot of the comedy in the show is her being that, but Joe and the others knocking her down a few pegs, and that's
right, right,
not what the show was about this week. So sadly, we don't get the sort of payoff of Blair being so self-congratulatory.
right, right.
But back to just the entrance of all
Oh,
before
yeah,
above all, the entrance is like if this is kind of a good morning, what a beautiful day. It's like you just saw these girls. You just had
right,
breakfast with them.
right, right,
Just brushed your teeth in the same bathroom that all 5 of you
right,
share.
right.
But
Because she just
okay,
needs to make a statement. She's just always making a statement.
yeah.
Look at me.
So she clearly got ready, went out the back way, and then came around the front to make an entrance in the front.
Her grand entrance, yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? I did just actually double check myself. She doesn't say good morning. She does say hello
Good.
all.
Oh, hello,
Hello
all.
all.
Okay.
Isn't it a
Mm-hmm.
glorious day? And we do know she is coming from a different place.
Right.
But still, it's like, but you live there. Why wouldn't you go home
Yeah.
versus the store? But I guess Blair needs to boast, and this is certainly the
Of
place
course
she
she
knows she
does.
can do it. So I guess I will begrudgingly give the writers a
Right.
little pass.
Okay. All right. Just a
I
small
don't
pass.
I don't have to like it. So Blair is just effervescent and
Oh,
so completely I have done, some people split atoms, some people cure cancer, but I have done a wonderful thing because I'm Blair fucking
of
Warner.
course. Of
And
course.
what she has done is they needed entertainment for freshman night. And so
Right.
she offered up cousin Jerry, her cousin, who is a stand-up comic whom
Mhm.
we've met before.
Yep.
And she's promised them to use cousin Jerry. And basically they're like,
Without asking.
does Jerry know this? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a formality. Ha ha ha.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Blair does say, did you get this line? I'm going to be the next Don Kirshner. Did you get that reference?
Yes. Yes, I did. Yes,
Uh-huh.
I did.
He was a big time music producer,
Yep.
talent guy in the music business. Well, not so much stand-up comedy, but he was a big.
I
If you,
love that she referenced it.
well, it was bigger at the time ish. If you've ever
Yeah.
seen Gilda Live, the Gilda Radner Broadway show that they filmed and released,
Mhm.
Paul Schaefer does an amazing impression of him,
Oh,
which he used to do on SNL. They would do Don Kirshner's rock concert, which was a
that's
TV show.
awesome.
And yeah. So then that's sort of the A plot. We have an A plot and a B plot, which is not typical to the show. Typically the shows have just one plot, but this is one where
Right.
this is clearly, and in fact, this is the B plot. We get introduced to the subplot first. Now the A plot
Right.
is where a boy comes in the shop.
Oh,
Not just any boy, a
my goodness.
very tall, attractive, young African-American boy and girl. He is
Jeff
fine.
Williams. Jeff Williams.
Jeff Williams. He is beautiful.
Now, I looked up on IMDb. I looked up Todd Hollowell.
Yes. Oh, look at you doing homework for me.
I did. Well, I was just curious because I wasn't an avid watcher of the show. I wanted to see if he was just a one episode character or if he had an arc. He was on for like 9 episodes or something.
Honestly, I think the chemistry between them is really good. Do you think?
David, come on.
You don't agree with me?
I don't. It's so hard to tell really anything with the acting chops. Like I just, it's so cheesy.
Yeah.
But okay, I'll give it. But this is only me watching like 1 episode, so I guess
they continue to see each other, and
okay.
then they stop seeing each other, but then they get back together. I think he goes off to college when he gets back.
Did he ever learn how to read, David?
I don't remember if we ever addressed it. I hope so. I can't wait to find out because
we got to find out.
Yeah, I don't know these episodes the way I knew the Brady Bunch once upon a time. I'm discovering as I go as well.
Okay.
But what I can tell you, and this is big time, spoiler alert right now, after Tootie and Jeff reconcile, they end up engaged before the end of the show. They are engaged. And that is 1988. By the time we get around to the reunion movie in 2001, Tootie is now a successful daytime talk show host. Host of Wake Up with Dorothy, I think is what it's called, because Dorothy's her real name.
Oh my gosh.
And she has a daughter.
That is amazing.
And we don't know what happened to the father until a ways into the episode. The daughter says, "Why do you never talk about daddy?"
Is it Jeff? Is it Jeff?
And she says, "I don't talk about him because Jeff was the love of my life. And when he died, I was devastated." Exactly! Jeff dies!
Oh, no. Did he ever learn to read before he died? This is what I need to know.
We don't know! But isn't that amazing?
So sad.
This is our introduction to this character, but his legacy, he lives on. He has a child, and he and Tootie had apparently a happy marriage for
baby Toots.
Yeah, for over a decade they were married. So it's like,
oh my God. Well, now I feel bad about making fun of his acting skills. He died. God.
But he's being honestly, for a young actor, he's being asked to do a lot here, I think.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm giving him a pass, and because I know he's going to be around a while, I'm like, it's not the greatest. Oh, but it's Jeff. We love Jeff. We really do genuinely like him, and we're glad he's here.
Oh my.
So, Natalie, of course, Natalie being the horny one, she is the one who immediately is like, "Whoop! I gotta stop inventory. I gotta go wait on the customer." And Tootie is like, bitch, you pick that clipboard back up.
Yep.
Tootie stopped short of saying, Natalie, you turn around and you
Yeah,
go back behind that counter right fucking
absolutely.
now.
Yeah, get the fuck out. This is
This one is
my Jeff.
mine. She does say
Yep.
it. So she
Mm-hmm.
comes in, and there is some really fun flirting going on because he's the star quarterback over at Bates, which is the brother school to Eastland where Tootie goes, the all boys.
David, he is the football team.
Bingo. And Tootie says that. And
Yep.
he is, the first flirt that Tootie gets in there is he says, I'm kind of hungry. And she's like, well, we got this or that. And he says, how about a hero sandwich? And she says, you make any sandwich, you eat a hero.
Yep. Yep.
And Blair is like, that was good. And then when he says, I play on the football team, and Tootie says, I hear you are the football team.
The football team. Yes.
And once again, Blair turns to Natalie and says, that was inspired. It's like, Tootie is crushing. And I mean, think of it. This is going to be her husband. It's like, bitch. You saw what you wanted and you went for it.
You get that man. Make that man a sandwich.
Yes.
God.
Oh my goodness. And I do have to point out that when Blair is complimenting her flirting skills, we do get a cutaway of Joe looking very not into it.
Good God, Joe is pissed 24/7. Joe hates everything.
Yeah, it's a cranky Joe episode. Yeah.
God.
Well, the thing is, we've only been in Edna's Edibles, like I said, for 5. This is our 5th week now. And the deal is, Joe has somewhat taken on the role of taskmaster as being the unofficial manager of the shop. So Joe is the one who's always having to crack the whip. She's always having to say, we've got to do, she was saying 2 weeks ago, she's like, Mrs. Garrett, we're still in the red. And I'm thinking, you've been open for 3 weeks, girl.
How is there red? How is there red already? Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't expect to be in the black after 3 weeks of opening a brand new gourmet food shop.
Totally.
Owned by a woman who has never, ever owned a shop or been in a retail business before.
Right.
The lovely thing is that we have Joe playing up that she's annoyed that they're not hitting the books and not doing the work.
Yeah.
But there's also, for the lesbians out there, the whole thing of Joe's not impressed with the flirting with the guys.
Mm-hmm. Now, may I ask a side note, because you are such an avid watcher?
Do. Yes.
Was Joe, surely they never went over her sexuality during the show, right? Or
absolutely
did
they did. She is heterosexual.
Stop it.
She is married. Tootie is engaged when the show ends. In season 9, Joe is married. We have Joe's wedding. She is the first of the girls to get married.
To a man.
To a man, yes. I have to say that
Holy. Like, now, there was no discussion of her being possibly gay. It just was.
Never, ever.
She's getting married to a guy. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not
and the
know
subtext,
that. Okay.
the subtext of her frenemy relationship with Blair, if you read it the way certain people do, it looks like, she's unimpressed with Blair flirting with guys. Sometimes it's like, because she wants to keep it for herself.
Holy.
But there is so much, watching it with those eyes, there is so much fun.
Oh my God.
And interesting stuff going on. Such an interesting dynamic.
That's so funny.
No, Joe is and always has been 100% heterosexual. And Joe's taskmaster stance is exemplified by Tootie gives Jeff the sandwich for free. She's like, you see, I see you.
She was so mad about that. Yeah.
You my man now. You're getting free food.
So mad about that.
And Joe was like, God damn it, we don't give away free food.
Having it.
How dare you?
And
not
happy.
Yep. So that's what Joe is playing, not
I also noticed the amazing editing of how quickly Tootie made the sandwich. Just a fun little fact. Yes. She spread the mayonnaise on, and within and then it cut to just handing him the sandwich. She's just a very, very quick sandwich maker. I just thought that was kind of funny. Yeah.
It's like wrapped gifts with the lids already. It's just like, oh, look, it's unwrapped now. It's that sitcom trope thing. Mrs. Garrett then comes in and she sees him and she's like, oh, wow.
Oh.
And by the way, I do my bad Mrs. Garrett impression, and you are welcome to join me if you are so inspired at any point, okay?
I love that.
So she comes in and she says, oh, haven't I seen him on a box of Wheaties? and it's true, people. Is that still a thing?
God.
Do they still put athletes in the boxes of Wheaties? Is that
You
still
know, I think they do.
Do we
But
have Michael Phelps and?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure they had like Simone Biles, like. But I think you have to be like an incredible athlete. I don't know if you can just be the football team to be on a box of Wheaties. I think you have to win several Olympic medals.
Yeah. But the response is, you will see him on a box of Wheaties. That is how promising this athletic career is. And so Tootie gives him the sandwich. Good. And again, the flirting is off the chain. She is so good at it. And she says, I hope you like the sandwich. If you like it, maybe you'll come back. And he says, oh, I'll be back even if I don't like the sandwich.
Okay. Yes. and I still, when I'm hearing these lines now with you saying them, I'm like, wow. And she was 14.
Yeah, exactly. Playing 16.
I can't get that out of my head. Yes,
the character is 16. But... the actress is 14.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep. And so then before he leaves, he asks Tootie if she would be his date for the victory party after the big game coming up. And someone even says, how do you know there's going to be a victory party? And it's basically, I'm playing.
Yeah, I'm the football team, damn it.
I am the football team, and we are going to win because...
Of course we're having a victory party.
What's that from The Mandalorian? I have spoken. The Nick Nolte little troll character. So moving on to the next scene.
Yes.
We are in the living room, the living space behind the shop where we are post-date now. And it is Tootie and Natalie. It's girl talk time. And they're sitting on the couch. And they're talking about what a romantic 3 days it's been. They've been dating for 3 days now.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
So, and Tootie's like, and oh my God, we are so good together. And think of it. He's a future athletic star, and I'm going to be an actress, and I'm going to be a star. We'll be able to support each other in our big time careers.
What a power couple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's already envisioned it. It's like, hey, set those goals. You go for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then did you catch on the is it Tootie or Natalie? No, I think it's Natalie who says, God, you guys are like Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio.
Yes.
And it's like, they got divorced. Anyhow. And then she says, Alex Karras and Susan Clark. Do you know who they are?
I don't.
They're the people on Webster. Alex Karras was Mongo in Blazing Saddles, a former football star. So there is kind of I see the football.
Okay.
But he and his wife were the husband and wife on Webster with Emmanuel Lewis. Webster is an ABC television show. ABC. Why are they plugging an ABC show?
Why did that happen?
Because we've had references to other shows, and typically they're NBC shows. Typically it'll be Let's Be Careful Out There from Hill Street Blues or something like that. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. But I guess they're trying to think along the lines of he technically is the athlete and she is the actress. He transitioned into acting. And then the last one she says is Joe Namath and everybody.
I didn't catch that. Oh my God.
And
that's funny.
I mean, late 70s, early 80s were the years of Joe Namath. He was an athlete turned actor turned, there was a series of ads with him selling pantyhose where they actually had him in the pantyhose.
Totally remember that. Yep.
But the thing is, I don't remember him being known as a man whore. And that's what this is alluding to.
Either. Yeah. Joe Namath. I don't remember there being a lot of talk about him being kind of this
a playboy type of a thing.
But yeah.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
Weird.
This is good.
No, I don't remember that at all.
I'm glad we came up in the same time that I can verify with you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Us oldies. Yep.
Yeah. So then remember our B plot? Well, we got to get back to that.
Well, of
So
course.
in comes Jerry going, no, I don't want to fucking do it. And Blair is like,
Yeah.
you have to do it. And Jerry is
You have
like,
to do it. You have to make me look good.
yeah. And now if you say no, I'm going to look like a fool. And she's like, fine by me. I'm like, yes.
I love Jerry.
And Jerry's awesome. And it's like, she's opening for a rock band. And it's
Right.
like, she's like, that's not my audience. They're not going to be there to see me.
Yeah.
It's going to
Jerry
be,
not being set up for success at all.
yeah, no, not at all.
No.
Not much else really happens in this other than we see Mrs. Garrett leave because Joe is going to drop her off and then take her car in. And
Right.
as I've said so many times, Mrs. Garrett is slowly becoming an appendix, an extraneous part
Right.
to her own show. This
Mm-hmm.
is where her joke, the joke they write for her is, Joe, you're going to take my car to the garage. And that's where they're going to rotate my pistons, right?
Rotate my pistons. Yeah, that was funny.
And it didn't really get a laugh because it's like
Not at all.
you gotta think about it. You're like, yeah, you don't rotate pistons, but
Not at all.
that's not as
It was
commonly
so
understood
weird.
as people realize. But I will point out, she does say, Joe was going to drop me off at my friend Sylvia's. I believe this is the first and possibly the last and only time Mrs. Garrett has ever talked about having a friend.
Really?
Mrs. Garrett has never, she's dated men. So she's been, she's gone on dates, but her having a
Right.
girlfriend, a contemporary, this is, I cannot remember
Interesting.
there ever being a time we've ever
Yeah,
heard.
always about just the girls. Always
Mhm.
her with the girls. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe the word is the girls.
The girls.
I love it. But Joe's big thing is she needs to get the inventory finished.
God, the fucking inventory. Jesus.
And Tootie has been putting it off. So Tootie's been slacking because the last 3 days she's been spending a lot of time with Jeff. And Natalie is
Jeff.
like, yeah. And Natalie's like, oh, come on. And Mrs. Garrett is like, yeah, cut her some slack. And Joe is like, look, according to my calculations, she owes the business 6.2 hours of work.
She's so dumb.
I'm glad that there is the allusion to somebody keeping track of the hours being worked.
Well, somebody has to, yeah.
Yeah, because this sort of live here and work here agreement, handshake agreement they've landed on for these 2 seasons that we're going to be doing this.
Right.
It is a little shaky, like, is someone keeping track of this? Because before they had a structure built in as far as you're working in the cafeteria and you will help make 3 meals a day, period.
Right.
And so just throwing that out there. So then we go on to the next scene back in the store. And now Tootie is doing her inventory work. And Jeff is hurrying her along. And so she's like, well, you know what? I could get through this faster and then we could go to our movie if you would help me. So she says, here, hands him the clipboard and says, you write, I'll read. And he's like, I can't concentrate. I've got my head. I'm, the game.
Yeah, I'm the football team. Yeah.
All the football playbooks, things, thoughts, feelings, can't.
Right.
And so she says, okay, fine. You don't want to write then? You read them to me and I'll write them. And he's like, they all look the same to me. I don't want to.
Yeah, deflect.
Yeah. So she starts like reading them. And he's like, whoa, slow down. And she's like, what's up? And she says, what's the matter? Can't you read?
Oh, bonk.
And if there were a soundtrack, that's what you would have heard.
Yes.
But the deal is, he does that sitcom thing, that sitcom trope of when you are in conflict or there's something uncomfortable, what do? You turn your back and walk away from the person.
Okay, that brings me to something that I did write down in my notes watching. The blocking and the crossing and the cross stage left and sit down and then stand up and cross right and turn your back, and God, I love 80s blocking. Like, it's just just walking with a purpose and sitting down and saying your lines. And oh God, I loved it. And they did it a million times in this episode. It was so
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
There was a lot of angst motivating the
Oh
moving.
yes.
So yeah, this
Yes.
had a lot of that going on. So then he fesses up, reading's not my thing, okay? And she's like, what do you mean it's not your thing? And he says, the coach says, don't bother. I'm up for 9 colleges, football
Yeah.
scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
And Tootie says, well, how do you pass your tests in school? And he says, people help me. And she's like, what do you mean? And he says,
Mm.
they get me the answers and I memorize them, like the way I memorize the playbook.
How do they get their hands on the tests prior?
Oh, Robyn, that is a question I think all of us are asking ourselves.
I really want to know how that
Yeah,
happens. Yeah.
I do too, because it makes so Tootie says, so people cheat for you, and it is weird because it's
I've
like,
never
so
heard such a thing.
yeah, so there's a kind of a sense of, are the teachers in on it too? Because they're like,
Right.
we got to win the football game.
Yeah. The teachers might be in on it if they're
I
giving out
mean,
the tests early for somebody to get the answers.
exactly. So he says something to the effect of, now come on, Tootie, let's not talk about it. And he goes, I don't want my girl looking like a sour lemon or something like that.
My girl.
And that's it. And she says, your girl? And she says, what do you mean, your girl? And he says, I mean, like, I got sunshine
Oh,
on
the
a
singing.
cloudy day. Not a good
Oh,
singer, and I don't fucking care. It was so
no, it
romantical.
was so sweet. Thank you, Jeff Williams. Oh, so
Uh,
cute.
and so they exchange, I care about yous.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, would you
Mm-hmm.
wear this? And he has a ring of some sort. One assumes it's is a football ring a thing? I don't even know.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you win a championship, yeah.
You get a ring?
But I thought that was kind of only in college, but apparently in the 80s,
It
it
was
was
in high
a
school
big high
too.
school thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it could have been a class ring, but yeah, he just pulled it right off his head and put it over her. Yep.
And puts it on her. And then there's just this moment of, it's they're playing, it's a beautiful romantic moment, but it is underlined by this unresolved issue of what the fuck with the reading.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a kind of a slow fade to commercial, and
Yes.
that's kind of our cliffhanger that we're left
Mm,
with.
love it. Love it.
Yes, yeah, me too. So Robyn, we're at commercial, and this is the time when I like to do a little bit of an interview with my guests. I always like to start off just basically a very short travelogue through your life and
All
your
right.
career. So we start off with, where were you born?
I was born in a town called West Covina, California,
Mm-hmm.
just outside of the sort of LA area,
Mm-hmm.
um, and grew up in a little town called Fallbrook, California, which is about an hour north of San Diego. And at 18, I moved out of my house and moved to the valley of LA and
To
lived
seek
there
your
for
fame and
13 years.
fortune.
Oh, sure, sure. And yeah, so I lived in LA for about 13 years and then moved to Orlando in 2003.
Now, while you were living in the Valley in those 13 years in LA, you
Hmm.
amassed a very nice little career for yourself.
I
And
did. Yeah, I'm really proud of what I did out there.
it's very
Yeah.
fascinating how many people start in Orlando and end up making their way out to LA. And you did
Hmm.
it the other direction. But
I
talk a bit
did.
about what we will find in the IMDb page for Robyn Pedretti Kelly.
All right. So you're going to find an episode of Friends,
Mm-hmm.
1998. The Christmas episode 98 is called The One with the Inappropriate Sister. So I really, really loved my time out there. But at 33, I kind of just was like, I just don't know how much longer I really want to do this. And so I met a boy
Mm-hmm.
and he was great. And we both just were looking for, to kind of settle down. We didn't really want to settle down in LA. So we ended up deciding on Orlando, and there's nowhere else I can think of that truly gives you a family feel, like to settle down, have a family, and make a living doing something you love, full benefits. Like
Mm-hmm.
it just I can make a living as an actor and have a family in a great place that isn't LA,
Yeah,
you
with a
know?
supportive
So
community where it's
yeah,
not
God, the community here is
everybody
amazing.
you meet is all in the same industry
Yes,
and
and there's
fighting
so
for the
many.
same stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely, and in Orlando, you're right, there's like there are actors, but there are also techs, there are stunt people, there are makeup artists, there are like the community is just it's just incredible, and there's so many opportunities. And even though he and I did not last, um, I decided to stay in Orlando after
Hmm.
that and just kind of build a career for myself, and I'm really, really happy with where I am now, so
Yeah. And where you are now is a very well seasoned, well experienced, and
mm,
decorated theme park actress, comedic, interactive, musical theater,
yeah.
everything at both Disney and Universal. And you also direct.
I do. I did some directing at Universal. I directed their holiday show, the Grinchmas Spectacular, Hula Day Spectacular, and I did that for about 5 years. And Universal is one of those places that truly celebrates their employees, and they give you opportunities that
Hmm.
I just couldn't find elsewhere. And so, yeah, I'm a full time contracted actor at Universal. I am part of the ensemble at SAC Comedy Labs. I do some improv.
Sick. And
Yeah, and just
you've been doing what am I
yep,
trying to say? Streaming improv
yeah,
shows during the pandemic.
yep. Every night at 7 o'clock, we do a live stream with a different person, a different topic. We're trying to get
Hmm.
comedy out there. Since SAC is not open right now, we're bringing it to people's homes. So,
Hmm.
and I met my husband and had a kiddo out here in Orlando. So
Yeah.
it really worked out well for me. I think had I been 23, I would have stayed in LA longer. But at 33, I don't ever feel like I gave up. I was very happy and content with what I had done. And it was
Hmm.
kind of time for just something new and different. And so I moved out here, and I'm really, really happy that I did.
Yeah, that's great. And because you had already achieved
Yeah.
somewhat, you had already been kind of dipping your toe in the pool of the quote unquote
Yeah.
big time. It would have been very easy for you to say, okay, I got to keep going now. I got to, the big one's coming. I'm going to be a movie star
Right.
now. I'm going to get my own
Right.
sitcom. I just got to keep fighting and fighting.
Right.
And
Well,
that is
and
just
I
so
did
rare.
very proud of what I did, but it was time to kind of just look for something different. So I'm really happy with the change.
So you move on to Orlando and matrimony and motherhood, and
Yes.
your motherhood leads you to another wave of stardom that just
Oh, geez.
happened recently with this group of yours called the Back to School Florida Moms.
Yes, sir.
You posted some pictures that went viral, and you
Yep.
ended up on the Kelly Clarkson talk show premiere episode.
Premiere episode, her
Holy
very, very
shit.
first episode. Yeah, it was so much fun. It was a Sunday night, the Sunday before school was starting. And my neighbor, Shauna, down the street, she's an amazing photographer. And she texted the four of us and said, hey, let's take like a funny back to school picture, like us being kind of like excited for the kids to kind of get
Yeah.
back into the swing of things so we can have our mom life back, kind of just tongue in cheek.
Hmm.
Because of course we love our children, but everybody needs a
Yeah.
little break. So
But yeah.
um
Hmm.
yeah, so she's like, just grab some lawn chairs, some wine glasses, and a robe, and let's just take a picture on Bridget's driveway. So we were like, yeah, let's do it. So she ends up posting that on her photography page, and it freaking blew up. Like, the reason I think it blew up is because real moms like us
Hmm.
could relate to the fact that yes, we love our kids, but my goodness, we're not teachers, which we ended up having to be this year. but
I know.
um but you
Payback's
know
a bitch, huh? You all had to homeschool your kid.
exactly. But we just, in order, I truly believe that in order to be a good mom, you have to take care of yourself
Hmm.
first and foremost
Yeah.
to be a great mom to your kids. And so we just were kind of making a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing, like, oh, it's going to be so good to, get the kids back into
Yeah.
routine after this summer.
And
And
yeah.
we got so many comments from people totally relating. Even Kelly Clarkson, when she interviewed us, she was like, I loved this because I do this. I'm like, every summer, school's back, I'm like, bye. And she goes, I grab my wine. And so it's like people could relate. And it went viral, and it was insane. We were on all the local news stations, and we created a Facebook page. It was just crazy. So it was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. I'll post the picture and the links
Okay.
to the group on the
Yeah.
webpage for this episode.
Awesome.
And I will say,
Oh, so
from when
fun.
you and I did Laughter on the 23rd Floor together at
So
Mad Cow
fun.
Theater, that was such an amazing, fun production.
God, what a cast.
And many of them have been on the show. I've had Tim Williams and Philip Nolan and Steve
Yes.
Pernick, and
So good.
among that, I learned a very valuable lesson. Even if she is napping in the dressing room and you go to Starbucks, you call Robyn and wake her up and ask her what she wants. Because when you get back from Starbucks and Robyn wakes up and finds out that you went to Starbucks and did not tell her, her wrath was swift and non-ending.
Listen, I take my coffee very seriously.
You're Starbucks.
And I have a major FOMO. Like, I have a fear of missing out on people going on a Starbucks trip and not including me. And listen, I don't like it. I don't like it, as you easily learned. Yeah.
Everything, that was like our tech day. It was like our 12 and our 10 and 12 day. And everything after that was like, Robyn, could you, when you make your entrance, could you stand a little bit to the left? And you'd be like, yeah, well, I could stand more to the left if I'd gotten some Starbucks. And you were unrelenting, the shit you gave us.
Hey, listen, I don't like it. I do not like being left out of any kind of Starbucks trip.
Yeah.
It's rude.
I'm the same way with Dunks, because I'm from Massachusetts. It's just a regional thing. It's all about Dunks for me. And yeah, well, I am thrilled that your second wave of celebrity in your life has died down now, that I've been able to get you for this little time that we're spending together.
This is a blast. I'm loving it.
But now, Robyn, enough about you. We have to get back to the important issue of illiteracy.
Yeah, I'm sick of talking about me. Yes.
Illiteracy in Peekskill. That's what this could be called. So we come back from commercial, and they are all having a party, and they have punch that they made and put into a punch bowl and are serving in those little see-through glass coffee cups.
Tiny, with the little teeny handles. Yep.
Little teacup, little punch bowl cups, glasses. And they are celebrating. What are they celebrating, Robyn?
They are celebrating the freaking end of inventory.
Oh,
that deserves some punch and cups with teeny handles. It deserves it.
Oh my God. This inventory is over. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Joe must be thrilled.
What is Joe going to be pissed off about now? She's got to find something else.
Oh, she'll find something. She's always pissed off. Yeah.
And here's the deal. This is a little fucking gourmet food store.
With only so many mustards.
They opened 5 weeks ago!
But they're in the red!
Why do you have to count? What is the purpose of inventory? You haven't been open long enough to need to do it. Grab your receipts for what was delivered in the last month, and that's your inventory.
Thank you.
Jesus.
My God. And but listen, had they not been doing inventory, we would have never known about Jeff's learning disability.
That's true. Jeff would have continued to coast by and relied on his friends who aren't really friends.
Some kind of friends. Oh.
But we'll get there. We are getting ahead of ourselves.
Okay. Now we're getting ahead.
Okay. So then Jerry comes in, and we have our extremely unsatisfying ending to the B story of this, and
Yeah.
I'm going to wag my finger at the writers that they could have done better
Okay.
with this. But do
Mhm.
you recall what happens with Jerry and how the story ends?
Well, they the rock band cancels,
Correct.
right? And they put in another comic to
Uh-huh.
replace. Yeah.
Yes.
And she's like, "I'm opening for another comic?" And then it kind of just fizzled.
That's it. That's exactly it. You
Just
just said
fizzled.
it. There's nothing else to it. And it, my thoughts are the rock band canceled, and
Yeah.
she did take the word, and she herself said the joke they did was she had agreed to do it. And then Joe says, yeah, she took one look at Blair's pathetic face and she had to say yes. And Jerry says, no, I took one look at my pathetic bank account and I said yes. And it's
Right,
like,
right, right.
preach, girl, gig
Oh,
economy,
yeah. I
preach.
mean, you hate to say no to gigs, Jerry.
Yeah. If anything, that could have been the end of the bit. That could have been the end right there, that
Yeah,
Jerry's
it
going to
was
do it.
so weird.
And
Yeah.
Jerry gets the money. Blair gets what she wants. And that could have technically closed up that little loop and we could have been
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
But to add the fact that the rock band canceled, yay, she doesn't have to open for a rock band. And the new headliner is Robert Klein.
Robert Klein.
And that somehow, to these vaudevillian old dumbass writers of the sitcom, that was kind of a, oh. It's like comics open for other comics all the time.
Yep. Yep.
All the time.
All the time.
And in fact,
So funny.
number one, this should have been a great honor. Jerry should have been like, I'm opening for Robert Klein.
Robert
Holy
Klein, yes.
shit.
Yes.
That's big time. But the other thing is that as far back as season 2, when we first met Cousin Jerry, her career is already doing very well. She was
Mhm.
on either the Mike Douglas show or the Merv Griffin show. She's been
Mhm.
on national television with her
Right.
act about her cerebral palsy. So
Right.
she's no slouch herself.
No. No.
So but the fact that literally the last word for this storyline was, I'm opening for another comic.
Brum, brum.
Terrible. Terrible. Bad writing.
Yeah,
Bad writers.
it
Bad
was
writers.
really, really unsatisfying. Totally.
Yeah, agreed. So very, very bad. And then Jeff comes over and he is fine. I'm just going to
Oh,
say it.
Jeff. Yeah. I mean, he took the teeny tiny handle of punch and he joined in on the party.
And yes, and even the nice thing that they blocked was he came in and as they were all, hey, come on in, join the celebration. He walks over and stands behind Natalie and puts his hands on her shoulders. Natalie is his
Mm.
girlfriend's bestie. And so that means that
Yes.
they have a little shorthand of they're
Yes.
cool and like each other.
Absolutely.
Oh, I
Yeah.
loved that.
Love. Yeah.
Yeah. So he says that he passed his big biology test. And
However, did he do it?
and he has one more big English test. And at that
that
point,
English test.
in his words, he can sit back and let the colleges fight over him. And so the toast they suddenly make a toast. I think sitcoms, of the many sitcom tropes that are out there that are not applicable to real life, people make a lot more toasts.
So many toasts.
In sitcoms
than
they do in
yes.
life. Have you made many toasts like at a party with your friends and a group of people you know?
I will literally tell you, I think the only toasts I've ever been a part of have been a wedding and perhaps like a Thanksgiving, maybe. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. For an occasion like that. But just we're going to reiterate, we finished inventory party.
Clink. Cheers.
Yeah, now let's but the toast now, this is in honor of Jeff getting his good grade and the fact that his future is so bright. And Natalie does the toast to Jeff, not just another dumb jock. And in light of this toast, Tootie turns away and Tootie puts down her drink.
Yeah. At one point, she sat on the couch. Like she sat on the arm of the couch because
And
she just knew there was, and that's when I knew, like, ooh, she helped him cheat. Like as soon as like everybody gathered around the table, and then
uh-huh.
she was in like the background, and she sat down on the arm of the couch. Like I was like, oh, she helped him cheat.
Oh, you
Right
see,
then,
I
I
didn't
knew.
see that. I did not see that
I
coming.
knew it.
I thought
I
it was
knew
just her
it.
thing of he got a good grade and she knows he can't read.
Nope. Nope.
But so we then Tootie ends up moping off into the store, going to the front
Mm,
of the building.
a
And
strong cross to the other
yeah,
room. Yes.
yeah, with filled with emotion and angst.
Yes. And angst.
And so Mrs. Garrett falls, and of course, what's wrong, Tootie? And Natalie is also there, and Natalie comes in and is like, I know what's the matter. You're worried when Jeff goes off to college that you
Mm,
guys are going to fall away from each other. Don't worry, he'll write. And Tootie's
right.
like, no, he
No, he
won't.
won't.
Uh, so then Tootie spills the tea. She gives the whole thing about he basically doesn't read and doesn't write, and he has friends who help him with the tests, who give him the
Friends. Who are
answers.
these friends? Who are these
And
friends?
Mrs. Garrett goes off on a friends rant.
Mm.
Some friends. And she even says, I am angry. They're cheating him out of his future. They don't give a
So
damn
good.
about him, only football.
So
And
good.
it's like she was here, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
mean, literally with us. She is with
But
us.
this is where they're like, oh, we can have Charlotte Ray do things here. Give her stuff to do. Have her take a
Yes,
position
yes, yes.
and feel those felts.
Yes.
And so, but the thing about those friends who are cheating him out of his education don't care about him. Tootie's response is, yes, they do. They care a lot.
They, I'm they.
Yeah. And that's when it comes out like, Tootie. And she fesses up that she helped him with the cheating. So I guess she rappelled her way down the side of the building where the teacher's office was.
Yeah.
And Mission Impossible style dropped down on a wire in a full black bodysuit to steal the answers to the tests that seem to be readily available to the students.
Yep. I mean, she's amazing. She is amazing that she was able to get those tests. I mean, it's incredible.
Yep.
And how much time had passed? Like they've been dating for how long, and then
It
she
was 3
gets
days.
the test. Right.
Yeah.
She gets the test, and he memorizes it real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast.
Well,
that's
I mean, I imagine that's a skill that he would have honed as far as ability to memorize. That, that's out of necessity. That's the only way I can see he's gotten by.
Yeah, because
at this point.
he's cheated so much that he must be really good at it at this point. Yeah.
So then in comes Jeff, and he's like, oh, there you are. And he says, if my girl's in here, this must be where the party is. And I'm just like, I love you, Jeff. You're so sweet and charming. But, so Mrs. Garrett and Natalie are like, shit's about to go down. Let's get out of here, shall we? And so Tootie basically confronts him about it. And he does say, I know you felt funny about it, but it was because my friend got sick. I was just in a jam. I wouldn't have normally asked you.
Yeah, such a jam.
And so then Tootie starts laying into him about it, about what is this, what kind of a life, what kind of a future do you have? And he does say to her, he gets mad and pushes back and says, you're getting out of line. And then Tootie, in a dramatic left turn.
Oh my God, yes.
Tootie plays the black card.
Beautifully. I am not going to lie. I did not see that coming.
Me neither.
I did not see her playing the race card at all in this episode.
And for that reason, it was effective. And here's another reason why. I've said so many times that Blair is the conceited one, Joe is the tomboy, Natalie's the boy crazy heavier one, and Tootie's the black one. They really don't make a big deal out of Tootie's blackness. Only in a handful of episodes is it an issue. In all of the shows, the vast majority, she's just another one of the girls.
Yeah. I mean, she went as far as to comparing the fields.
Yes.
David.
Yes.
That was like heavy.
It was powerful. But that's it. Because the show had kind of been leading up to this, that this is not something Tootie does a lot. Tootie is not the crusader for equality and no more racism. That's not Tootie.
This was her time, man. This was her time.
And for those who didn't watch the episode, Tootie says to him, Jeff, our people used to work in the fields. And if they wanted to read, they had to learn in secret. Now, an education is our right. And where are you? Still on the field.
I mean,
damn, girl. That's a mic drop moment for Tootie. Fuck yes, girl.
So good.
And
I mean, is she wrong? She's not wrong.
No, she is not wrong. No, we would be outraged if we would be having very different thoughts about this. I'm glad it resonated with you as it did with me. I was like, that is awesome. But there it is, because they didn't always make plots and jokes and things. They didn't make that. They didn't make her race a constant reference point for that. When it does come into play, damn, it hits hard.
Big, it hit hard. It really did. I was watching and you know, it's all kind of light and fluffy, and then boom.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, go Toots.
Yeah.
Get it.
It's awesome. And then she says, when you make the cover of Sports Illustrated, wouldn't you like to be able to read it? And his pushback is, I'm almost 18. I'm going to look ridiculous in a classroom full of 4-year-olds with my knees up by my chest in those little tiny desks.
Right.
I don't want to look like a fool. I've got my pride. And she says it's not pride, it's ego. And he says, what will people think? Right now, everyone looks up to me. I'm afraid they'll laugh and that I'll lose everything.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. He's not wrong either in feeling like that. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, I think in the end they did the right thing, but you know, to be this huge football star who is going to be looked at by 9 colleges.
9.
I think that is something for somebody like him to consider, is like, wow, am I going to have scholarships pulled? Am I going to, you know, there's a lot at stake here.
Yeah.
Football's all he has.
Yeah, true. But what is the final line of the episode, Robyn? He says, I'm afraid I'll lose everything. And what does she say?
You haven't lost me.
You haven't lost me. And they hold hands and look each other in the eye.
Freeze shot.
Credit
applause.
Rolls. Credits. And I mean, we've solved all of the problems facing the world right now.
I literally, you know, we solved all the problems in what, 23 minutes, perhaps?
Exactly.
26 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, just so powerful.
And by solved all the problems, we mean not solved any problems at all.
Not at all. No. Nope. Tune in next week for sure.
Yes.
Look into each other's eyes. I always love that. Do they always end it with a freeze shot?
It varies. Most of the time, but sometimes they will actively do scene work or space work.
Okay, space work.
And it's painful. I just want to know.
The freezing and then the live studio audience applause, just so good. Yeah, so good.
80s sitcom-y. But I agree with what you were saying before, that there is a lot at stake. But here's where here are my notes for the writers.
Okay.
That people in the writer's room, they're dealing with this sweeping, broad thing called illiteracy.
Right.
And they're alluding to the fact that he can't read or write. Well, he has to be able to write if he's going to pass a test. He has to be able to write on a test.
Listen, the only thing I could think of with that situation was perhaps it was all multiple choice. But
All, but what is an
but he would
A
have
and
had to
what is a
read
B?
the Yes, you're right.
Exactly.
These
So,
are good questions.
the idea of being able to be illiterate but coast through a high school education, that's
Mhm.
weird to me. Now, the thing is, this is 1983. I don't believe the word dyslexia was in our
I don't
vocabulary
think so.
at that
Mm-mm.
point. So I think that could have been the adjustment, and that I will be sending back in my time machine to the writers. The adjustment
Yes.
that I am requesting that they make is that this is so easy if you just change it to "I don't read well. He has trouble reading." That's a
Right.
very common terminology for, wait a minute, there's something not clicking here. And
Right.
if it's
Because
dyslexia, go
he
ahead.
says that scenario earlier in the episode. I know when to walk and not. What did he say?
Oh
Like
yeah.
he said, like I know well enough to go into the men's room and not the ladies' room. I know when to walk across the
And
street. That
yeah,
kind of thing.
I know to
So
stop at a stop sign kind of a thing.
right.
Yeah.
So he does know some things. So I do like your idea of changing it to I don't read well. Yeah.
And because dyslexia is, people can still read and write. It's
Mm-hmm.
just letters and things get swapped around,
Yes.
from what I
Yes.
understand. I
Yeah.
went to high school with kids who were dyslexic, and you
Uh-huh.
know what? No, that word was in our vocabulary. I went to high school with people. I remember sitting at an audition, and a friend of mine just quickly coming over, like he was about to be called up, and he just went to me and just said, "What's this word?" I
Oh
just can't
wow.
figure out that he could figure out and piece together
Right.
what it
Yeah,
is.
but the brain is wired so that they know the letters, but they can't form the
Yeah.
word. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can read and get the basic gist and fill in the
Mm-hmm.
blanks, fill in the spaces, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
This is, and again, a subject I am 0.0 an expert on. This is like literally what I've gleaned from uh,
Right.
outside places I can't even cite. But the thing is, so that was, I remember that was like 85, 86
Mm-hmm.
when I was
Mm-hmm.
in junior, senior in high school. So
Yep.
dyslexia was a thing. So they could
Yeah.
have very easily just made it that
Yeah.
he had, because he has trouble reading, people are helping him, friends are helping
Right.
him to
But
get by.
instead, they opted for just he's illiterate.
Illiterate, yeah. All
Great.
right, girl, I have taken up so much of your time. Before we
This
wrap
was
up,
so fun.
I am so glad we finally got to do this. Uh,
Thank
I,
you.
I'm so glad we have a global pandemic where you have no excuse that you can't say
Yeah, I
you're
can
busy doing
literally
anything.
this it's much easier for me right now to lay in my bed and do this than to have to come over and find time and find childcare and blah blah blah. So this was perfect.
Okay, well, before I send you on your way, I'm going to put you on the spot one more time.
Oh boy.
Completely random, anything off the top of your head. Name a commercial from your childhood. Any commercial for any item.
Like cereal, Mikey likes it.
We haven't had that one yet.
Really?
No.
Oh my gosh. You remember that, right?
Well, it's a new cereal. You want to try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it.
You try it. I'm not gonna
Let's,
try it.
yeah,
Let's
get
get
Mikey.
Mikey. Yep. Oh my God. Yeah, I
uh,
remember that like it was yesterday. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, he likes it.
God.
Hey, Mikey.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
And then they actually brought him back when he was a teenager, and it was like, Mikey
Yes.
still likes it. Life cereal.
Still liking it.
Yes. Oh, that's a great blast from the past. I haven't thought of that in
Yes.
so long.
God, I loved that
Wow.
cereal too. Oh God, it was so good.
Well, Robyn, thank you so much for doing this.
David.
I miss seeing you. We do get to work
You
together
too.
at the horror makeup show at Universal
Yes.
on rare
Yes.
occasion. I hope it is soon we're able to get back to it.
I love you, and thank you for having me. This was a blast.
Oh, I love you too, and I can't wait to see your face in person again.
All right, sweet boy.
All
We'll
right,
talk soon.
smooches and goodbye. Mwah.
Mwah.
And there you have it. That was Robyn Kelly. Now, I did do a little bit of Googling, not too deep a dive, but I was wanting to make sure that the word illiterate was still okay to use, that it wasn't considered a really awful, politically incorrect term. And it seems that the term is okay. It's fine. It just seems like it's a little archaic and outdated, because it's a fairly binary term, and it's really more a symptom, and the cause is more what wants to be addressed here, whether it's something like dyslexia or some other type of learning disability. So I think it's just they are more likely, they being I don't know who, are more likely to cite the reason for why the person did not learn, cannot learn how to read or write, or has had difficulty doing so. Anyway, that's your somewhat educational moment for the week. Next week, I'm going to be watching Season 5, Episode 6, The Halloween Show, and I'm going to have another special guest. You can watch the episode for free on the Roku channel or at dailymotion.com, and you can check out the links in the show notes or on the webpage for the episode. I will put all of that there so you can see the episode for free. That's all for now. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you're staying safe and staying sane. And remember, the facts of life are all about you. Let's Face the Facts was produced, written, hosted, and edited by me, David Almeida. My theme song was beautifully arranged and recorded by Ned Wilkinson. Our website is facethefactspod.com. You have to drop the let's. And that's where you can find extra pictures, video, and audio extras from the digital cutting room floor. Follow the show on social media. We're everywhere under the handle Face the Facts Pod. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/FaceTheFactsPod. And don't forget, go to your favorite podcatchers and subscribe, rate, and review. Tune in again next week for another thrilling episode of Let's Face the Facts.